In the first 15 minutes, a nuclear explosion unleashes chaos like you've never imagined. The initial explosion releases an immense amount of energy, light, heat and deadly radiation. A blinding flash can temporarily blind people miles away. An incandescent fireball forms, vaporizing everything in its path. Next, a shockwave radiates outward, obliterating buildings and trees, followed by high-speed winds that hurl debris and cause severe injuries. Intense ionizing radiation is emitted, posing severe health risks. An EMP disrupts electronic equipment and electrical grids over a vast area. Radioactive fallout then begins to contaminate the atmosphere, making vast areas hazardous with high radioactivity. The fallout increases the risk of radiation poisoning and long-term cancer. Finally, intense thermal energy sparks fires in urban and forested areas, leading to widespread destruction. Critical infrastructure like hospitals and communications crumble, making rescue efforts almost impossible. The first 15 minutes of a nuclear explosion, pure... Hey everyone, today I'm diving into a topic that nobody wants to think about, but it's crucial to know how to survive an atomic bomb. First things first, if you get any kind of warning about an impending nuclear attack, you need to act fast. The first step is to take cover immediately. An atomic bomb can cause severe burns, blindness, and other injuries from the blast and heat. Seek shelter in a building, preferably a basement or the center of a building, away from windows. If you're outside when the bomb goes off, don't look at the blast. The flash can cause blindness. Drop to the ground and cover your head. After the initial blast, get inside as soon as possible to avoid radiation exposure. Once you're inside, stay put. Close and lock all windows and doors. Turn off fans, air conditioners and heating units that bring in air from outside. Create a barrier between yourself and any exterior walls. The goal is to put as much distance and as many dense materials between you and the fallout as possible. You'll also want to have an emergency kit prepared ahead of time. Stockpile essentials like water, non-perishable food, a first aid kit, and a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio to stay informed. Don't forget about sanitation supplies like plastic bags and duct tape to manage waste. Lastly, stay informed. Listen to local authorities for updates and instructions. They will guide you on when it's safe to leave your shelter. Remember, preparation can make all the difference. Stay safe out there and be prepared for anything. This is why you need a solid plan for nuclear safety. From preparation to survival, we've got you covered. Before the explosion, plan and prepare. Identify the safest spot in your home, like a basement or a fallout shelter. Stock up on essentials, water, non-perishable food, medicine, a battery-powered radio, flashlights, extra batteries, toiletries, extra clothing and protective masks. Create a family communication plan and stay informed through reliable sources. During the explosion, take immediate action. Get to your designated safe location fast. Close all doors, windows and ventilation inlets to minimize radiation exposure. Position yourself as far away from the exterior as possible and use heavy materials like earth or concrete for added protection. After the explosion, avoid contamination. Remove any possibly contaminated outer clothing and seal it in a plastic bag. Wash thoroughly with soap and water to remove radioactive residue. Stay calm, stay informed, and stay safe. Your preparedness can make all the difference.
What I wish I knew before the sirens wailed. Here's how to protect yourself during a radiation emergency. First, head to the safest location available. Ideally, this means a basement or an interior room at the center of your building. The further you are from exterior walls and the roof, the better. Next, close all doors, windows, and ventilation inlets. This helps minimize the ingress of harmful radiation. Yes, that means closing vents and switching off air conditioning units too. Stay put until you receive official instructions from emergency services. Remember, the longer you stay sheltered, the safer you'll be. Stock up on essentials like water, food, and a first aid kit in your chosen shelter area. These can be lifesavers if you need to stay put for an extended period. In a radiation emergency, every second counts. Stay safe, stay informed, and always be prepared. For more tips on emergency preparedness, radiation exposure got you concerned? Here's what you need to know. First, put distance between you and the source of radiation. Place yourself as far from exterior walls, ceilings, and floors as possible. Think of it like a shield. The more layers between you and the outside, the better. Second, use heavy materials. Earth, concrete, and bricks are your friends. They can block harmful radiation from reaching you. Build your safe zone with these materials for added protection. Now, Let's talk about avoiding contamination. If you've been exposed, the first step is to remove any outer clothing. Carefully place it in a sealed plastic bag. This helps prevent radioactive particles from spreading. Next, hygiene is crucial. Wash your body thoroughly with soap and water. This simple step can remove a significant amount of radioactive residue. Don't forget to scrub under your nails and in hard-to-reach areas. Remember, safety is all about distance and barriers. Stay calm and take these steps to protect yourself. You've got this.
Radiation safety, what you need to know. In any radiation emergency, knowing what to do can make all the difference. Let's get into it. First things first, waiting time. If there's a radiation emergency, you need to stay at your shelter for at least 24 hours or until authorities say it's safe to leave. This waiting period allows radioactive particles to settle, reducing the risk of exposure when you finally step out. Patience is key here, folks. Next up, monitoring. Use a battery-powered radio to get information and directions from authorities. In these situations, communication lines can go down and having a reliable radio can be a lifeline. Keep it tuned to emergency channels and follow updates closely. Now let's talk about safe movement. When authorities give the green light to leave, avoid areas with high radiation risk. Stick to the evacuation routes they indicate. These routes are planned to minimize exposure and ensure your safety. Food and water safety is another big one. Only use food and water that have been stored in a safe location and haven't been exposed to radiation. Pre-stored supplies are your best bet here. Contaminated food and water can pose serious health risks, so be vigilant. An additional layer of protection is potassium iodide, or Ki. Take it as directed by authorities to help protect your thyroid gland from radiation. Remember, Ki doesn't protect against all types of radiation, but it's a critical tool for specific threats. Lastly, let's not forget about personal protective equipment, or PPE. Masks, gloves, and protective clothing can help minimize radiation exposure. Suit up properly before you venture out and always handle contaminated materials with care. So to recap, stay sheltered for at least 24 hours. Use a battery-powered radio for updates, follow safe evacuation routes, consume uncontaminated food and water, take potassium iodide as needed, and use PPE to protect yourself. These steps can significantly reduce your risk and keep you safer in a radiation emergency. Stay prepared, stay safe, and remember, knowledge is power. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more essential prepping tips. Until next time, take care and stay vigilant.